You can learn a whole lot about the personality of Congress and its priorities by looking at its calendar. The majority leadership at the Capitol gets to set the schedule, and the top Republicans have now set the timetable for 2018. Here are 4 takeaways. Number 1, the GOP seems anxious about being productive during the run-up to the midterm election. Some election years, the majority creates plenty of time for members to go back home to their states and districts, concluding that time spent close to their constituents is the best recipe for them winning re-election come November. That's not what is going to happen this time. In fact, the GOP bosses look like they've decided to adopt the opposite strategy. They're betting that what the voters want in 2018 is to see their lawmakers toiling away. Plus, they know that their hold on power is narrow. Republicans will have 55% of House seats, but just 51 senators in 2018. And with Donald Trump in the White House, they want to make the most of their potentially limited time as the first unified GOP government since 2006. All that means the House plans to be in session for 108 days before the election, which is 14% more than in 2017. The Senate boost is even bigger. They'll be in D.C. for 33 weeks, 9 more weeks than the previous year. Number 2, the budget battles won't go away. In fact, the calendar is designed to keep the skirmishing going during the peak of campaign season. Really big policy bills aren't likely to get very far in the election year, at least nothing on the order of the tax cut or replacing Obamacare. So the annual debate over spending priorities will get plenty of airtime. And even with a deal to raise the budget caps, experience leaves no reason to believe those decisions will come quick or easy. There's really no chance this year will be the exception that proves the rule that the budget debate always busts the deadline of October 1st, the start of the new fiscal year. The calendar shows the GOP already preparing for the inevitable. The House will be in for another 2 weeks and the Senate for 2 weeks after that, leaving just 10 days before Election Day on November 6th. Number 3, the summer is still sacrosanct. Senate primaries in 18 states and for 2/3 of all the House seats will get done between March and June. But members have not rebelled at the idea of being on the Hill during much of that time. Instead, Congress is returning to its habit of turning out the lights at the Capitol for a long stretch at the end of the summer. Senators delayed the start of their vacation last year for the first time in almost a quarter century, with Mitch McConnell hoping that punishment would force a deal on health care. But the pressure tactic didn't work, and the recess started just 3 days late. Not this time. The House will be gone for 5 weeks and the Senate 4 weeks. Plenty of time to spend with the family, except for those unlucky members facing opposition in the 14 states that delay their primaries until August. Number 4, lame ducks have become a common species. Congress came back after the election only 8 times in the first 4 decades after World War II. That's because in those days, the expectation was that members would finish their regular business before asking the voters to rehire them. The legislative process is pretty stuck now, as everybody who's got a part in it knows all too well, so it's no surprise a lame duck session has been required after every election since 1998. For a while, those meetings were arranged with only a few weeks' notice. But now the custom of turning an officially blind eye to the inevitable has ended, and the 11th consecutive lame duck has already been scheduled. It will start 1 week after Election Day, the day after Veterans Day, and the same time all newly elected senators and House members arrive for orientation. And it's scheduled to last 19 weekdays, with a break for Thanksgiving and a big finish 2 Fridays before Christmas. By then, the legislative calendar for 2019 should be out, offering some clues about the timetable for combat or collaboration in the next, the 116th, Congress.